Gonna get some baseline footage. All right, so we're on the fire road. Not too crazy a surface. Get a baseline reading, technique, balance, control. Take a look and compare it to the technique when it gets crazier up there. Ooh, okay. Perfect. All right, so now we're trying the half kneel hip thruster again after doing the lower abdominal supine pedalers drill to get this activated. So get that extra core tuck up in there so that it's lengthening under tension, but it's constant tension, and the force comes from here. So this is where the force comes from, the power generation. This becomes it'll wrap around to here. The hamstrings are gonna lengthen under tension to control the smoothness of this. Yeah. So the hamstrings are the rate limiter for this. The power generation and stability right here, not dropping out to the side. Let the hamstrings lengthen, let the quad lengthen. At the bottom, I want you to extra core tuck and do 3 quick bounces. Sit into the glute and use the pre-tension of the glute to get a little bit of that thrust motion. Come back up. So a good prescription for you would be like, do the first 10, no, next 10, do a quick 3 pulses at the bottom of each one. You're building practice and connection. 20 minutes daily of the same drill does a lot more benefit than jamming in 2 hours once a week. Naturally, your foot goes into what would be the power bow position. Like I'll show you from behind. If you have any rockiness is jumping into that foot and ankle complex, it's not gonna spike your tire off of the dirt. You're gonna have a nice stable piston from the glute to apply power through here, simply because you focus on keeping the core tuck and getting the hip alignment up here. Okay. So this is your focus, and then the result down here is that you get good biomechanical power application. All right, first testing of the riding done. Came back to the glute doping field lab, did some prescription of some supine pedaler drills and some half kneel hip thrusters to get the core tuck and the glute scoop locked in. So the biggest thing we're working on is not having so much knee valgus collapse when trying to apply power, but actually having a little bit more of that bow structure so that when the power is applied, if there's any bounciness or terrain problems to deal with, the biomechanics of the leg absorb that force and they can still apply power through the glute. There we go, there we go. Okay. This is post glute doping dose testing footage. We've got, I don't know, what looks like a little bit smoother. I like that. You feel the lower abdominals a bit more now?
Yeah, trying to like flick the heels out.
Yes, yes, yes. So flicking the heels out a little bit as a tactile cue. Imagine you got the glute band on.
Yeah.
All right, so it gives you a little bit of that more external rotation at the knees. And then getting the heels out a little bit to get some of that bow structure. And then extra core tuck in so that when you're trying to push from the glutes, you get that piston structure. Try to keep the quads lighter and just use the quads more as like a device to smooth out the power rather than try to generate power. You just do a little bit of sitting the weight back like we did on the half kneel hip thrusters. And right now, feel how the front end gets a little bit lighter. It doesn't have to be much bias. It can be like 60% in the rear, 40% in the front. But it just smooths it out. And then remember the shoulders, dropping the shoulders into the jersey pockets. And then all of a sudden the front end just kind of straightens out. You see that? So that's the practice of the technique here. The challenge is gonna be locking in all those components when the power demand goes up and the bounciness increases, all right? Okay, we're on secondary test right here. We're getting to the steeper section right here. Just doing a great job of locking in the core tuck and the glute scoop and getting that left knee aligned to have more power and sitting the weight back. So we're looking at the smoothness as we come through. There we go, yeah. Get the weight back. Extra core tuck, extra core tuck, extra core tuck. Pull back, lean back, lean back. There we go, smooth power. Oh yeah, way better. All right, we're take 2, the steep section of the mountain, applying the glute doping, glute dominance pedal stroke technique with biomechanical efficiency, shock absorption built in, and smooth power application. Sit the weight back, use the core tuck, pulling the bars to belly. All right, successful day out. Successful day out. You locked it in. Identified exactly the source of the uncontrolled bouncing, found exactly the specific core tuck glute scoop drills to lock in to increase it. Did a test and retest out here in the field to make sure that it's a real world change. Massive success. Get the glute doping prescription onto the program and then go and win all the races. Let's go.